Yeah.
It's not
Mm.
gonna give up on it. What a busy day.
Yeah, it has been for mine. It has not been busy today that much. I started work at 7. I finish at 1:30, and then I was like, oh,
Ah,
let me just have a nap. And I had a nap until 4.
I've just been pushing something heavy right now outside there.
Oh, is it the engine or something? Did you
Yes.
did you finish making the other car, exchanging the engine for the other Mazda?
No, no, not yet, but we're doing another one, so
Oh, okay.
yes. I just came from work and then I had to start another one. So yes,
Yep.
yes.
Always on under the car.
It's a busy life, man, I tell you. uh,
Oh, it's
but
always
it's
busy, and it's very good when we create time for to talk about good things.
yes, yes. Otherwise, we are just going to spend the rest of our lives doing silly things, you know. So for
Yep.
me, I always find it important, like in my life, to spare some time to discuss some critical issues of our life. Otherwise, we'll just be in a circle and you never notice that you're not going anywhere with life.
It's just like passing the time.
It's passing the time, yes. So that's what I
Yep.
wanted to do. I always find time for this, and I feel like this is more of my passion than everything else I do.
That's what your passion.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
Just wanna help others and help myself in the process, you know.
Yep. Actually, when you discuss it yourself, it's gonna be building even you more and more.
Yes, it fits me more than anyone else, and even because
Just
it's
just
a skill that is developing, right? Let's say tomorrow
yep.
you're invited to do a presentation somewhere. You are the one who is going to present more fluently because you're used to it. So you always
Yep.
benefit. Yes.
Yep. It's just like the same as preaching and stuff, or just uh using Bible scriptures to others. When you use it to others, it's actually even building yourself as well.
Yes, that's very true.
Mm.
You can't preach what you don't live yourself.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah. And actually, I just find it right now. I look like someone who is more creative. When I'm typing, I always type something meaningful. But actually, I made a decision to be like that. I was like, I don't want to reply people with the empty replies like, okay, fine, no worries, those kind
Yep.
of
Yeah.
replies.
Yeah.
They don't mean anything. So
Mhm.
I just made a decision that I want to reply with something which, even if I'm to read it 10 years from now, I would still find meaning in it and I would still be proud that I'm the one who said these things. So
Mhm.
in the process, I became creative.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I've realized that when you all of the things you replied, there's just it's either a sentence or a paragraph.
Yeah, it's an art sort of. I don't just reply. Now it's within me. I sort of like you're writing a poet or something like that. That's how I.
Yep. But I see that's really helpful. Even it's keeping the conversation to continue rather than just saying, oh, okay, no worries. It just
Yes,
end the
that one.
conversation very easily.
And no one benefits anything from that anyway. If you say no worries, so
Mm-hmm.
what? uh,
No worries.
ah,
Yeah, it's very essential to just add something.
yes. For me, the only thing I want to see is seeing young people engaging in meaningful conversations because I've seen that many people don't even talk about these things. They don't,
Yeah,
those things
literally,
don't
yes.
exist. Yes.
If it wasn't even for you, I don't think I'll be even getting exposure of these things.
And I see these days you're reading good books, man.
Just when I get time, I just read.
Yeah, that's good. You have to keep reading, keep reading. That's how you improve your vocabulary as well.
Yep.
Yeah, you you improve your facts, you improve your intelligence,
Yeah,
even your general
social media is.
awareness of what happens in the world. You know things.
Mm, I just
Uh,
find that when we spend most of the time on social media, it's like because sometimes when I'm free or I just spend some time on social media, but I just realize that after sometimes when you just sit down and reflect, you'll be like you don't even remember what you started watching so it's like, but when you read a book, you can even remember any sentence you even first read or even the points that you read. It's actually when you read it yourself, it's more you gain more than just watching and stuff.
yes. For me, I feel I do listen to audiobooks. You know, when I'm just when I'm busy. Because for me, my job is manual handling. So most of the time, my hands are occupied. I can't sit down and concentrate. But in that process of listening to podcasts, audiobooks, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of things. And it's true. Sometimes you forget some of the things, but I keep playing it again and again. Maybe if you play it once or twice, then you start remembering it. Even these discussions we are having, I listen to them almost every day.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though
Even
even
me, I'm
though
listening to them and yeah. Oh, it's
yes,
getting more interesting when you even listen, and listen.
yes, I listen. Even though we are the same people saying those things, I still listen to them. And every time I listen, I'm picking new things. I'm like, wow, really? We were saying this? So yes, yes, it's good we record them and we share with others, and
Yep,
we keep revising them ourselves, because the more we listen to those things, the more we start acting on them, and then
yep.
hopefully we see some good results in the near future.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully.
Um, I had a discussion on Sunday with two guys, Privilege and that lady. Um,
Yep.
yes, but then I thought, I started this thing with Kirkland, so I don't think it's nice if I just record with these other guys and he's not part of it. So I'll repeat it with him.
That's okay.
Yes, that's why I was like, no, we can't wait for next week, or we find a time during the week and then we do it, because
Yep.
we are the originators of the thing, so it's not nice to when you find new friends, you forget the people you started with.
It's
Nah,
the old
that,
one.
that's not how it works. Yes, that's not how it
Yeah.
works. uh,
But at least when you guys were discussing it was I get some points. You were definitely talking about you're more talking in English than talking in Shona. It's just a few in Shona.
yes, yes, yes. I tried to speak in English as much as I
Yep.
could, so that
Yep.
was I actually posted it. I posted it, uploaded it today. I was
Yep.
going to give you the link, but I felt like there are some fakes which I made in Shona, which I think are also good. Hopefully, I will remember some of them today. But yes,
Okay.
I
Yep.
felt like yes, some of the points are very very good, and it's important if we can highlight them in English as well, so that many people will
True.
benefit. Yes.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about attitude, right? Our next topic, the one which we were supposed to do. So that's the one I just did, attitude.
Yep.
Uh,
Attitude.
yeah. So probably we can just do that, and then next time we'll see what else we need to do. And on Sunday, this
Okay.
coming Sunday, probably I'll be too busy that day because I have a double shift actually. I have another shift starting, I think, 4 to 7, 4 p.m. to 7. So it's like I go to work to 3 a.m. to 1 p.m. I come home, probably just take a nap 30 minutes or so, and then I go back to work again. So
Oh, yeah. Then
Sun
Monday the same thing again.
Monday is the normal 7 to 5. We can do it
Yep.
afterwards, but I don't know if we can have some time Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday. I'm not even sure about the Saturdays.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
Saturday night, Saturday night. I'm not sure yet. I'll see
Yeah.
what.
We still need to.
We'll
You
just
let
follow
me
your
know.
time.
Yes. You let me know whenever you get free. It was. Sometimes I
Yep.
come, especially when I come from work, and usually I need to cook, so that keeps me busy until maybe around the 8:30, 9. So that's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
All right, so shall we jump into our discussion for today?
Yeah, let's go. Let's see what the attitudes has for us.
Attitude. Why am I choosing to discuss attitude when we are talking about money and wealth, and the right mindset, personal development and growth? Why is attitude important? Why are we talking about attitude?
I think it's like a go values that support that keeps you on a guide to these goals, to this handling money.
Yes, so basically, when we are bringing in the subject of attitude, we are trying to address one thing, which is how we handle things that we encounter in our lives. So these are things that comes in through our eyes, what we see, things that comes in through our ears, what we hear from people around us, and things that we observe and perceive as we move forward with life. And it also includes obstacles that we come across in our day-to-day lives. And these obstacles, they do influence our course of action, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the subject of attitude is trying to address these things, because the road is not smooth when you try to be successful, when you try to build something worthwhile in life. It's not going to be a walk in the park, right? It's going to be very, very difficult. uh, One day you try to do something, you face criticism from people, some of your friends, some of your relatives, some people you depend on, your partners and stuff like that. You see people criticizing you, you see conflicts arising as
Yeah.
you try to build something. And we are humans and we do have emotions. We love people, we listen to people, we are influenced by them. So
Mm-hmm.
attitude now is how we handle these
Yeah, how is go.
difficulties when we start facing challenges along the way, when we start facing criticisms along the way. How do we handle those things? And the way we handle them comes from the way we interpret them. So attitude is basically our interpretation of what is going on. It is our interpretation of what is going on. So it's either an interpretation of what has been said, or what has happened, or what we have seen. So the reason why I'm choosing to discuss this subject is because we are almost always influenced by someone around us. I am here, I'm influenced by someone. You are there, you are influenced by someone. But
Yep.
that influence is enabled by your interpretation of that thing as it comes into you, your interpretation of it. So let's say you say something to someone, and perhaps you mean good, and then that person interprets it as if you mean something bad.
Something, but yeah.
Why does that happen? That you are trying to say something good, or you are trying to do something good to someone, and yet that person cannot see it as good. They interpret it as something that is bad, and a conflict arises where you were trying to do something good, the result is something bad. where you are trying to impress someone. Have you ever done something with an intention to impress someone and you think like, what I've done today, this is the best. I'm going to be praised today. This person is going to be happy with me. And as soon as you present your thing, it turns into a mess.
Usually that things happen. For example, you did something good and then you want to show someone, and then it doesn't come the way it was meant to be.
And why is it happening like that? Because if I did it with good intentions, then the next person should see it as such, isn't it? But often it
Yes, a
often
good
it doesn't
intention.
happen that way. The opposite usually happens, which brings us to the same conclusion that interpretation is what is at play here. Interpretation. It's not about what the intention of the sender of the information. It is about the receiver of the
Interpreting.
information, how the person who is receiving the information interpreting
Yep, yep.
it. So if we look at some of the attitudes uh, or things that influences someone's method or way of interpreting things, if we dig deep into some of them, by the time we end this discussion, yeah, hopefully we'll be prepared to interpret things in a manner that leads to better results instead of a manner that leads to worse results. Right? So, thing number one I want to talk about, attitude number one I want to talk about is the attitude of someone who is uh, optimistic. Optimistic,
Yes.
someone who sees things with a positive eye.
Mm-hmm.
When something happens, an optimistic person always uh, sees the good side of things.
Mm-hmm. I heard you saying about uh half of glass of water and it's like when the water is half full of glass, it'll be like, is it half full or half empty?
Yes. So to an optimist, right, when he sees a glass of water which is half half filled with water, he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
see a glass that is half empty.
Mm-hmm.
He sees a glass which is half full, which means his energy is more towards the positive side of things. Let's say you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend to the girls, right? And your partner does something which, uh, let's say you see your partner hugging someone. A pessimist will say, "Oh, this person is engaged in
I
extramarital
agree.
in extra, marital relationships. So this person is cheating on me." This is a pessimist. An optimist will be like, "Oh, I need to ask.
Disagree things.
I need to ask this person why my partner why she was doing that. Whether this person is your friend or maybe your brother or your uncle, I need to
Mm-hmm.
ask and see maybe this person is related to you. Maybe they are friends.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they knew each other before I even come into your life. This is an
Mm-hmm.
optimistic attitude compared to a pessimistic attitude which says, this I saw
Yeah.
you are cheating on me.
I
By the
told
time
you.
by the time she comes, your bags are outside, everything is outside, you don't want to see her, she's gone.
Yep.
You
That's
understand?
optimist. That pessimist.
Now these attitudes do not change the reality on the ground. If she was cheating for sure, it's not gonna change because you are thinking maybe that person was your brother. It remains like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does is it affects the way you act from there onwards.
Oh, okay.
So with a positive attitude,
Mm-hmm.
you look for positive results. You look for
Yep.
positive solutions
Mm-hmm.
to the problem,
You're
to
always
the
looking
to
for
the to the,
solutions.
to the issue. And I was saying to an optimist, there's nothing called a problem. It's called a solution, a challenge,
Yep.
because there's a difference between a problem and a challenge. A challenge is a task that you need to work on and you complete it
But a problem
successfully.
is
But
something that bring negative things.
a problem is something that you can, it's an obstacle and
Hmm.
you don't have
So,
a
for
solution for
example,
it.
it's like, for example, sickness a problem, or yeah, it's a problem. Hey, like
I'm,
sicknesses and stuff.
I'm saying
Mm.
it is your interpretation of that thing
Oh,
which
you
is
interpret
going to
that.
determine your action.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Yep.
suppose you are a sick person. If you take it as a problem, then you'll be like, my life has ended here. I'm not going to do anything. Look, I'm just a sick person. What else can I do with life? I'm useless.
Mm-hmm.
This is an a pessimistic attitude. A person who sees the glass is always half empty. A person who always sees the negative side of things. But an optimistic person is someone who is saying, today I'm not feeling well, but at least I still have my hands, at least I still have my mouth functioning, at least I still have my eyes. I can do
Yeah,
something.
I
I
still
can
got an energy.
I still have a little bit. I can do something about it. I may be sick
Mm-hmm.
today, but if I follow the prescriptions, you know, if maybe you had an accident and maybe you seem to have a permanent injury, and I've seen people with very very difficult injuries recovering because of their attitude. You see them doing exercises and stuff like that. They go for therapy and stuff like that. And yet, someone with a very small problem, even if that person is given a prescription to go and see a therapist and is even given maybe a routine of exercise, that person doesn't do the exercises. So what happens
Mm-hmm.
to this person? It gets worse and worse because that person has a negative attitude towards the same sickness. And yet this one who wants to recover, who believes he or she can recover, is doing what needs to be done because
Mm-hmm.
he's believing in himself and he does is working towards the positive side of things. He wants to see change. So that attitude alone will bring positive results. Whereas this other
Mm-hmm.
attitude is also bringing what negative results.
Negative,
You, you
negative
see,
results. Yeah.
you see why I'm saying. So
Yeah.
how does
I
how
totally
does
get
this
that.
how does this too apply in our business world? So you, in the first place, when we discuss the subject of being successful, financially free, working for yourself and building something big, an empire,
Mm-hmm.
I've had friends who say to me, if we all become employers, who is going to be an employee?
I remember I asked you one time as well. We all be, but it's never gonna be like everyone is gonna be employers.
But if you're trying to help that person, you're trying to have a discussion with that person and activate his mind to start thinking about building something great. And that person has this attitude of saying, if we all become employers, who is going to be an employee? You see the attitude?
Mm-hmm.
He has a pessimistic attitude of saying, have you ever seen a person who says, these things, they always fail. People who try business, they always fail.
Yeah.
just wasting money. If you tell people you can invest and make people be like, nah, you lose money, that thing doesn't work, you lose money. That is the
Mm.
attitude that I'm talking about. The pessimistic attitude, the negative attitude. The half empty attitude. A person who always see things with
Negative.
a negative eye, compared to a person
Yeah.
who always sees things with a positive eye. Who do you think is going to work towards a solution? Who do you think is going to work towards a problem? Because when you think something is not going to work, when you think something is not going to, you are going to lose, what
Mm.
do? You focus on defense, right?
Yes.
So let's take it as a battlefield. In a battlefield, there are two principles. One is defense, another one is attacking.
Yes.
Who is going to win? The one who is attacking or the one who is defending?
I think the one who is trying to attack.
The problem with defense is that, yeah, let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
In the parable of talents, there were people who went out and they took the risk and they multiplied their money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one who was afraid of losing it, and so he protected it, he
Mm.
secured it,
Yes.
he wrapped it in a safe place, and no one stole the money. The man was safe because he was afraid of losing it. So the man was what? Was safe. So by,
Mm-hmm.
by, by the time the master came, he still had that $1, and others he had 10, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? You lost it.
Exactly.
You lost it. What, right? So if all you do is being negative in life, you focus on the defense mode. And when you focus on the defense mode, you don't use your talent, you don't use your skills, you don't use your visions and your mind. And the law of nature is such that everything that you do not use, you lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Take your hand,
Definitely.
take your hand and hold it here like this for a week, and then a month, and then a year, and see if you can stretch it out again. It's over. That hand is never going to stretch out again,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you were not using it. If you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. Yeah.
So that is the law of nature actually. If anything that is not moving, anything that is not working the way it's supposed to be working, if something is just stuck in one position, you're going to lose it. So that is
Yep.
the challenge of being a pessimistic person, a negative person. A negative person is a defensive person. And a defensive person doesn't use the talents that he was given by God.
Mm-hmm.
And once
It's
you
just
don't use,
focusing on securing
yes, and once you don't use those talents, you're going to what? You're going to lose them.
to lose them. Definitely.
You see. And there's also an example which I gave last time of the children of Israel when they went to spy. They came back with two reports. One group
Mm.
said,
Reports
the men we saw there were very, very big.
by giants.
They were giants. When we compare ourselves to them, we were looking like grasshoppers. That's what they said.
Mhm.
And when you compare a grasshopper and a human being, you'll be like, this guy.
It's the same thing connects with you remember the ants we saw the other time, the green ants.
Yes, yes,
They are very small, but they can actually move a lion away. They can one bite can make the lion escape from where they are from their territory.
yes, yes. They don't
So
care about that.
that's being optimistic.
Yes,
Attacking mode.
yes. Always in the attacking mode. Doesn't matter your age, and they always win. You see, uh, And you know, when these guys were saying we were grasshoppers, another group came with grapes, big grapes, and they said, "Look, guys, there's grapes and there's milk and honey in that land. Let's go." The other group was saying, "No, these people are too big.
Damn.
We can't defeat them." So it's this. They went and spied in the same place. Another one came
Mm-hmm.
with a negative report. Another one came with a positive report. So what? What am I
Mm-hmm.
saying with this? Whatever is happening in your life today, whatever you are coming across your life today, you choose what you want to see. Either you see positive or negative, there's evidence for everything. And whatever direction you choose is going to determine your next action, which is the most important part of attitude. Because attitude controls your action. If you think
Yes.
something is bad, you act in like manner. If you think something is good, you act in like manner. If you think something is going to work, your action is going to prove that it doesn't work. If you think something is if you think something doesn't work, your action is going to prove it doesn't work. If you think something works, your actions are also going to prove that it works.
Uh, Yep.
Even when you think, you either think of ways in which it's going to work, or you think ways in which it's not going to work. So you choose. It's up to you, right? Whatever
Yep.
situation you are faced with, be it criticism from people, be it failure in business, be it failure, whatever challenge, it's either you take it positively to say, although this has happened, I'm going to find a way out of this and I'll continue, I'm not going to give up. Or you take the other way and say, this is evidence that this thing is not for me, I'm quitting now, you never see me here again. You choose. You choose, and we see results after 10 years. We cannot compare after within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. People they always look the same.
Yep.
But after 10 years, that's when you start seeing a difference between two people who are walking in the same path.
Yep.
And also on the same attitude, there's a verse which I was looking at. It's Proverbs 22 verse 13. I saw it somewhere. Uh, Proverbs chapter 20, 22 verse 13. It says, "The lazy man says, there's a lion outside. I shall be slain in the streets." This is what it says. What is this verse saying? It's saying there's a person who is lazy or who has a certain attitude. And this
Mm-hmm.
person is saying, in the streets,
It's dangerous.
in the streets, in the villages, in the ghetto, there's a lion.
Mm.
Come on, Kirkland, we come from Africa, we know lions. Can you see a lion in the street?
You'll be running away
There's no way you can ever see a lion in the street. A lion is in the jungle,
in the
right?
jungle.
And
Yes.
he's saying in the way, in the streets, in the village, in the town,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lion. And imagine the traffic, the number of people moving up and down in the streets. And this lion is just going to see only you. It's just going to attack only you. Everyone else who is
Only
walking in those streets, the lion doesn't care.
what must you be having then?
There are dogs walking in the streets, goats and cows walking in the streets. There are kids walking and playing ball in the streets. There is everyone. Chicken Joe, everyone is going up and down in the streets. And the lion is only waiting for you, just you.
Just you only.
Only you. You see what
That's
attitude
unbe-
does? That is what,
Yep.
and do you think you can tell this person to do something worthwhile and that person will act? No way.
No,
No way. Because
definitely.
his attitude is going to prevent him from taking any action. His attitude is so negative that no matter how hard you try, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how hard you try, nothing is going to happen. So I think I've
So
emphasized. All right, yes,
what
go
is
on.
the relationship? What's the relationship between attitude and mindset, because when you're mentioning this, you mentioned like attitude affects your direction, you like influence all your direction. So what's the relationship between mindset and attitude, or they are almost similar things?
Yeah, right now it looks like it's almost the same thing.
Yep.
I haven't, for now, I don't think I can distinguish the two yet.
Yep.
Because I think your attitude towards life is the same thing as your mindset.
Mindset. Mm-hmm.
How do you interpret things that are happening around you?
Using the
So
mindset.
right now, I just emphasize the negative, the
The
negative,
pessimist.
the pessimist and the optimist. But there are other attitudes also which are very important when it comes uh, to success.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I was talking about a person who is too realistic. A person who is realistic, he wants to make sure that he does all the calculations. Everything is perfect before you jump in.
Everything is right before it takes moves.
That attitude sounds very, very smart.
Is it like a calculated risks, or
Uh,
what's?
for, for me, it's not the same thing. Let me explain why.
Mm-hmm.
Is it real, or do you think during the time of Adam, it was real for a man to fly?
No, it wasn't.
But now, is it real for a man to fly?
Some context.
In
No,
as much
really, no, really, no,
we
really,
can't
no, really.
we don't have wings but we fly. You are flying from here to Africa in an aeroplane, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right, but do you think Adam could ever imagine that such a thing could happen?
No, I don't think so.
It was not real, right?
Yep.
So how did it happen?
Mm.
Something decided to do something that was not real. Someone decided to do something that was not real.
Face the unexpected.
Everyone is thinking it's not real, and that person decided to do it, and it worked, and then it became real. So what is real? What is reality? What is real?
Yeah.
Real is a limit. It's a non-limit. So when you are saying I want to do something that is realistic, you are saying I want to do something that is proven, something that other people have done already, and proved that it works to this level, to this extent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go a mile further. So how are you going to invent things if you are a realistic person?
You just follow the same structures, and
Do you
keep
think
you're not gonna grow. You're just gonna be
you don't think
same
outside
level.
you don't think outside the box if you are realistic?
Mm-hmm.
So it was not possible to talk to someone who is far away, let alone see that person like what we are doing right now, and record that person and have that record kept somewhere and share that record with someone else. It's not real, is it?
Mm-hmm. It's not. Yep.
It's not real, but it's happening, right? How did
Yeah,
that
it's happening.
how did it happen? Someone chose to do the unrealistic thing, and it worked.
To be.
So
Yep.
if you want to have visions, if you want to be a visionary, if you want to build something phenomenal in this life, that attitude of being realistic is something you should throw in the bin. It sounds smart, but that thing is not smart. It's a limitation. You
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
understand?
Yeah. Yep. I get the idea.
Now, what else does a realistic person do? A realistic person does calculations. I always talk of calculated risk, but this one is not calculated risk.
Mhm.
It's a too much analysis.
Mhm.
So in our world, we call it analysis paralysis. In a situation in which you analyze things until you convince yourself that this thing is never ever going to happen. This is impossible. When you think too much of something and you analyze so much of something so that it becomes completely unrealistic. That's what people who want to be realistic end up being. They start with calculations, and those calculations, it's either they put a ceiling too low so that they easily reach it. This is what is realistic. Or when they want
Mhm.
to put the ceiling a bit further where they can't reach immediately, it becomes unrealistic.
Mhm.
So analysis paralysis is a very, very difficult thing which I see many people suffering from, and people delay their processes of doing things. People let go of opportunities, and they always miss opportunities because they are over analyzing things, trying to be realistic. And yet
Which is
someone
limitation.
which we want to talk about next, an opportunist.
Yeah, opportunistic too.
Whenever an opportunity presents itself, he doesn't do a lot of calculation. He just looks at it
Oh,
and be
this
like,
is an
ah,
opportunity. Let me see how this is gonna go.
yes, that's what an
He's
opportunist
just gonna
does.
risk it.
It's someone who is walking in the streets and then he sees a beautiful lady. He'll be like, ah, let me talk to this lady and see what happens. And then he goes there, hi, how are you? This and that and that. He got a number, this and that, Over a short period of time, he's in. And
Started having conversation. Yeah,
the realistic one, you've been doing,
like if I talk with this
you've been
lady,
troubling
she's gonna
yourself
reject
for
me.
4 years. And yes, yes. Imagine all those things that you're going to think about before you even go there. You're going to
Yep,
complicate the process for yourself, right? And
yep,
the more you think about it, the more complicated it becomes, isn't it?
complication.
So that's the same thing with even the business world. The more you think about what you need to do, and I mean in the sense of over analyzing things,
Mm-hmm.
the more complicated it's going to become, and the more difficult it is. The smaller the chances of you even actually
Taking
uh,
actions.
taking actions in that direction. You see, so it's
Mm-hmm.
something, especially we young people. There's no need to be overcomplicating things. And
Mm-hmm.
remember last time I said, don't be complicated, but be sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Yes.
So when I'm saying don't complicate things, I'm not saying be a dumb person, a stupid person, an oversimplified, silly, meaningless person. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying when you need to make a
Mm.
decision, you must
You're
teach
supposed to
yourself
know
to make
this.
decisions quicker. Wasting
Mm-hmm.
time and thinking are two different things. You can
Waiting and thinking.
you can still think for 10 years and still come up with a stupid idea. So
Yes,
wasting
but
time is not the evidence that you are thinking. No, no, no. In fact, if you are a smart person, you should be able to make decisions within the next few
Like,
minutes, few seconds, few
yeah,
minutes. If you are a
that's why
person,
that's why you usually say, "Ah, don't even have to take 1 minute. Just answer."
if you know what you want in life, if you have your values, you have your visions, you know what you want in life,
Mm-hmm.
then you definitely know it when you see it with your eyes, when you hear it with your ears. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely know whether this is what you want or it's not, whether this is what you're looking for or it's not. You just know it as quickly as that. You don't need to overcomplicate things. You know, isn't it?
Yep.
So what makes it so difficult for people to decide? Days,
People
months, and weeks, people are
analyzing,
struggling to make a decision,
thinking too much.
over complicating things, being too realistic. Nothing is real.
Thinking really. Yeah.
There's a quote which I always use which says, "What do you do with the world when it tells you that nothing is real and everything is possible?
Mm-hmm. Nothing
Nothing
is real.
nothing is real and everything is possible."
Nothing is. Hmm.
It's a confusing statement because it's saying the opposite thing. Because when we say
It's
when we say nothing is real, then it means
nothing is impossible.
everything is false. But then
Yep.
we are saying everything is possible. So how is it possible when nothing is real? It's confusing. But what it actually means is that this world, you never know. You cannot comprehend what happens in this world completely.
Mm-hmm.
You just live your life probably what you know it doesn't even constitute a percent of what is going on in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you want to bother yourself overthinking? All you need to know is where you are going. And whatever is happening in your life, the only question that you have is this thing taking me where I want to go? If no, leave it.
Mm-hmm.
If yes, take it. That's all. That's
Just to
all.
get the knowledge of, or to begin is to just to get the knowledge of what you want to do first, and then
Yes,
yeah,
that's why we started our discussion with a vision, and then we have
vision.
a
Yep.
passion, and then we have our budgeting. And now we are talking
Yep.
about our attitudes. You see,
Yeah. What much you need to have.
let's say you want to do a business. Uh, you have a vision and you decide on your passion and you look at your bank account, you see it's empty, you are not working, you don't have a job. Your attitude can either say, "This is not for me, I can never be successful," or your
Mm-hmm.
attitude will say, I'll keep looking for a job. It doesn't matter how long it takes, and I'll do anything and everything to get the capital that I need. You understand? That is why you see
Mm-hmm.
some of us, we continue doing cleaning even though we have degrees. We do silly
Mm-hmm.
jobs. Why? Because for me, what is important is what I'm doing today giving me enough capital, not enough salary. Both
Mm-hmm.
salary is for paying bills. You have to get that right.
Mm-hmm.
Is what
Yeah,
I'm
we need
doing
capital.
is what I'm doing today enough to give me the capital that I need to build what I'm building? If the answer is yes, then I'll jump into it. But if you are a pessimistic person and you are trying to be too realistic, and then you say, "Nah, I only earn $100. There's no way I'm going to build a $1 million empire. I cannot do that." You
Mm-hmm.
see, that's where you look at some very, very successful people and you try to look into their stories. You'll be like, no, this guy became successful because his parents were rich. You look at this one, you say he was successful because his parents were rich. So for me, my parents were not rich, so there's no way on earth I'm going to what?
I'm
I'm
gonna be
going,
rich.
I'm going to be rich. Now, you again, these are the things that are happening around you, the lifestyle of your parents and the lifestyle that you are in today. These are the things that are happening around you. The way you interpret them is up to you. Either you choose to interpret them positively or you choose to interpret them negatively. If you choose to interpret them negatively, you're going to say, "This life is not for me. I'm just a poor guy. My parents are poor, so you know, we have to be
Mm-hmm.
content with what we have." Or else
Sometimes, yep.
you say to
Be
yourself,
thankful.
even though I'm not rich, this guy, of course, he came from a rich family, so he started from up there. I'm not rich, so I'm starting from down there, but we are going to go the same direction, and I'm never going to give up. At some point I'll reach. Today I'm lower, but I'll build myself up until I reach that level which he started. And then from there onwards, I'll be in the same league with him. This is the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
This is the positive attitude. But the negative attitude just says, this is not for me. Uh, I can't do it. And if you want to know,
You're always focusing on giving up.
yes, you focus on giving up because that's what you're thinking.
Mm.
If you want to know that a person's background has nothing to do with his future. I've seen people, most people, they want to use that reason to say, nah, that person was born rich. That is not true.
Mm-hmm.
We have a story in the Bible of the prodigal son.
Prodigal son. Yep.
The prodigal son, his father was rich, and the guy was given a lot of money, half the wealth of his father, and he walked away with it all. What did he
Mm-hmm.
do? What did he do with
Came
it?
came back with nothing.
He came back with nothing. And this is happening today. We have so many people whose parents were so rich, and those people were given resources in a silver platter. But you look at the life they are living, you see that this person is not going anywhere. This person has no sense. There is no brain in this person's head. And that person in the next few years is back to zero. And some of us who
Back to
came
zero.
who came later on with nothing, you see us building wealth. And in fact, this usually happens. Strong people, strong men creates a weak man, and a weak man creates a strong man. What do I mean by this?
It's just like a generation. Like for example, let's use like for example my grandpa. Let's say my grandpa was a rich man. His
Yeah.
kids are gonna be a little bit lenient, and then for us, we're gonna be like, oh, our grandpa is rich, our dad is rich. We're just gonna use that. We're just gonna use what they have acquired. So we're not actually building skills. We are just submerging ourselves. So by the time these two are not gonna be available, which means we are not gonna be surviving. Which means we are not gonna be our own because we are depending on others.
Yes. So that's exactly the concept that a strong man, a rich man, will say, I don't want my kids to struggle the way I struggled. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
provide everything for them. So he's going to spoil them. This is the right word. He's going to spoil them
Yep.
so that they don't know what it is to live in poverty. They don't know what it is to struggle in life. They don't know what it is to work hard. So, because they are spoiled people, they don't take life too serious. And what is going to happen is when this father died, like you say, when the father dies, they are going to destroy everything they have and they're going to be poor. And their kids are going to grow up in poverty because these their fathers don't know how to build wealth. So the kids
Mm-hmm.
will struggle. They will struggle, and then through those struggles, they will dedicate themselves to building wealth again
Mm-hmm.
because they have seen the pain of poverty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they focus and they build wealth again. And when they build wealth again, they will say, I don't want my kids to live a difficult life which I lived. And
Mm-hmm.
they spoil their children again. So it goes on like a cycle, like a cycle, like a cycle.
The roller coaster.
Yes. So your breakthrough in life has nothing to do with your parents. It has nothing to do with your background. It has everything to do with your actions and your mindset from today onwards.
Yep.
You see.
Mm-hmm.
So attitude is going to contribute to that. If you think you are what you are today because of your background and you can't change it, it's not your fault, then there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you need to do about it. But if you think you have equal responsibility to change your life and you work towards that, then you see results coming in. which brings in the other attitude which I didn't mention today, which is complaining.
Yeah, complaining. Yep, I heard
Complaining,
that
yes,
one as well.
complaining. Many people are very good at complaining. Everything that happens in their lives, they're complaining. It's not their fault. It's someone
Complaining. Yep.
else's fault. It's the government. It's the parents. It's the guardians. It's the boss. It's everything. It's
And
even
I remember there's one time you mentioned about that when we complain, it's like we are denying ourselves responsibilities.
yes. We are denying ourselves responsibilities. When you complain, you are saying it's not my fault. It's that other person's fault. So if it's not your fault,
Mm-hmm.
then what it means is that even if you change, that person will just continue doing what he's doing, and your life you still continue getting the same results. You see, so there's no need for you to
Mm-hmm.
do anything if it's not your fault. So that is the main challenge of complaining. Complaining is going to rob you that right to take action against the challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a verse in the Bible. I think it's in First Corinthians chapter 10. If you read around verse 1, 2, 3, I think up to around verse 6, 7. There's a verse which says, God took the children of Israel out of Egypt, but with many of them, God was not pleased. He was not pleased. And the Bible started mentioning some of the things that they did which didn't please God. Fornication was mentioned along the way. But the other thing that was mentioned, you know what it was? It's complaining.
Disobedience or
It's
okay,
complaining.
complaining. Yeah,
It
yeah,
it
yeah. I
says
remember you said about they were complaining. They were given manna. They were given, but they are still complaining. They are giving water.
so.
They're still saying, "Oh, this water is salty."
So the verse was repeated in Jude chapter 1. But in First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, it says, eh, but with most of them God was not well pleased, for their bodies were scattered in the wilderness, which means God destroyed them in the wilderness. And then from verse 6, he started mentioning things that they were doing. But I'll skip to verse 10, which says, do not complain, as some of them also complained, and they were destroyed by the destroyer in the wilderness. So you see, some of the reasons why the children of Israel were destroyed in the wilderness is complaining.
Complaining.
Too much complaining. There are people in this life who are just good at complaining.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
complain against
Mm-hmm.
their background. They complain against their salary. You say, my salary is not enough. How can I be successful? My salary is not enough. I have lots of bills. How can I be successful? I have lots of bills. I have lots of responsibilities. How can I be successful? I have all these responsibilities. You are going to find a billion reasons why you cannot be successful. If
But
that is,
you can't even find one or two reasons to actually
as long as you are
for the
pointing to
solution.
something, if
You're
as
finding you're finding answers for problems, but you don't even find even one answer for solution.
you find more problems and not solutions. Yes. Because as long as you are pointing at something else other than yourself, then you are never going to
Mm-hmm.
be successful. Never. You can complain as much as you want against the government, against your parents, against your bosses, against your background, against your situation. You can complain about anything and everything in life. So what? It is what it is. Your duty today is to change that. You can either choose to complain about it or you can choose to change it. And we are saying we want an attitude that is seeking change, not an attitude that is seeking to justify its position.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Attitude that
all
seeks,
these
seeks change.
all these attitudes they seek to justify what we are today, who we are today,
Mm-hmm.
and we are trying to prove to each other that no. I'm not that stupid, you know. When you see me in this condition, it's not because I'm that stupid. It's because of A, B, C, D. Otherwise, I would have been, you know. We have to stop all that nonsense. If you really want to see a difference in your life, it's about time you accept that you are what you are today because of what you've been doing in the past. And if you don't want
Mhm.
what you are today, you have to change what you have been doing in the past. If you continue doing what you have been doing in the past, then tomorrow you're going to be just as you are today.
Just the same as you are,
Yes, so for that to change, you have to change.
or even
First and
worse.
foremost, your attitude has to change. And then when your attitude changes, your actions will also change. Because they say where the mind goes, the feet will soon follow. So if your mind is negative, then your feet will follow there in the negative side. That is why the Bible says, if you sow the wind, you are going to reap the whirlwind. You see, you reap what you sow. If you sow the negative, you reap the negative.
You know,
If you sow the
definitely.
positive, you reap the positive.
Mm.
And then we spoke about what is the right word? Fear, but fear is not the right word. It's it's the right word we were using last time. I'm forgetting. Fear, and what causes? We were saying, why would people do or have all these attitudes? What shapes someone's attitude? It could be something
Ships.
like your experience. Some people have had bad experiences for too long that they can almost always believe that the next step is going to be just as what happened yesterday.
Hmm.
So that fear will also determine your action. That is why I'm putting fear in the group of attitude.
Hmm.
So fear can be grouped into two. There's fear of missing out. I think I mentioned it before. Fear of missing out is when you see others doing certain things and
What?
you don't want to miss out. You want to jump into it straight
Mm.
away. And this is driven by a false sense of belonging, where you just want to be part of a group, even though that group doesn't help you with anything. So you want to be part of it. So whenever they do something, you want to do it just to feel
Hmm.
belonging. That
To,
is where
to,
the fear of missing out plays out. So
hmm.
I want us to hook this onto the subject of being an opportunist. Because sometimes
Hmm.
you might think you are being an opportunist when you are only afraid of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
Yes, so when you see something, you jump into it straight away. We are even the subject of being realistic, because we dismissed over calculation, but we did not dismiss calculation.
Hmm.
Don't get that wrong. Calculation is still important, very, very important. Calculated risk all the time. We take risk, but it's calculated. We attack, but
Calculated.
it's a calculated attack. It's a strategic attack. It's not just an empty attack, you know. Because if you just jump,
Hmm.
you rush into an ambush and then you get destroyed. You know, there are traps along the way. So it's a calculated move. It's not an empty. So when we are saying you have to be realistic, you have to be optimistic, you still have to calculate your what? You have to calculate your risk so that you don't jump into things out of fear of missing out. You jump into an opportunity which you quickly calculated. You saw it because you already know what you want in life, you already know where you're going in life, you see exactly what
Hmm.
you're looking for. The moment you see it, you quickly do your calculations. It's adding up, you jump into it. You see, if it's not adding up, you let it go. So fear of missing out, we have to be careful of that. And then
That's a big
the
problem.
there's also fear of losing.
Oh yeah.
Fear of losing, which is the pessimistic one, the guy who buried his money because he was afraid of losing it. We
Mm-hmm.
we are going to suffer from the same thing in the business world or anything that we do, because we have had these experiences of failing again and again and again. And so when you see something happening, you'll be like, I think I'm about to lose again.
It'll be the same again.
So what do? You withdraw quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps
Yep.
the one in which you are withdrawing is actually the one that was your breakthrough, and you are withdrawing quick. So what do you do? How do you counter these attitudes and the emotional reactions? Because we are human beings and we have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yep.
we have a memory. We remember things that happened in the past, and those things they affect us. And when we see them coming again, we relate quickly. This is what is happening. It looks like what happened in the past. I think I might lose, or I think I'm going to get myself endangered by this thing. What do you do? How do you handle that?
Yeah. Not sure.
Oh, that is why we call it the art of calculated risks.
Yep.
So if you did your calculation, you already know that if this thing goes wrong, I'm going to lose this much. So I'm risking this much to get this much.
Yep.
Once you set those parameters to say I'm risking this much to get this much, right? And then you put your risk online. Once you start taking action, the rest doesn't matter. The results doesn't matter. Whether you lose or you win, it doesn't matter. Because the moment you decided to do that thing, that, let's say it's money that you are risking, it's gone.
So yeah, that's why you. I remember there's one of the things you said as well. Like, it was like, uh, don't risk it if you want,
If you cannot
if
afford to
you
lose
if,
it.
if you don't have that idea of losing it.
Because that fear of losing is going to make you lose even more. Because you are going to
Yep.
withdraw. You withdraw and then you see it being successful and you start regretting, I shouldn't have withdrawn. The following day you come again, you see it happening your way. You 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 hold it and then you lose. You try again, you hold it and then you lose. You see it again tomorrow. You try to hold it. You see, like, I'm about to lose. You withdraw, and then that was supposed to be your breakthrough. So, calculated risks brings about consistency, because in these things that we are trying to build, they are cyclical, right? They are seasonal. It's not like every day is a smooth day. It goes up, it comes down. It goes up, it comes down.
Yep.
The seasons are changing. It's up and down, day and night, you know,
Mm-hmm.
darkness and light. That's what it is in this life. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like you're going to be, everything is going to be rosy every day, all time. No, that's not how it works. So how it works is sometimes you are in the positive side, sometimes you're in the negative side. So what we are saying is when you are in the positive side, you have to maximize your positive side. When you're in the negative side, you have to minimize
Minimize.
your negative side. How do you do that? You calculate your risk and stay consistent. When
Mm-hmm.
when an opportunity presents itself, you maximize your profits. And when danger comes, you minimize your loss.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This is how we break through. It's not like even it doesn't matter what kind of a business you are doing. Some businesses, let's say you are buying and selling things, right? Or maybe you are a farmer, you are farming, let's say tomatoes, onions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
These things they are seasonal. There's a season where it's so risky to grow those things. Maybe there are too
Mm-hmm.
many pests, too many diseases that are going to affect your crops,
Or the
and
weather.
yeah, or the weather, and many people are going to fail. But that is because many people have failed, there's going to be very low output. And because there's low output, there's scarcity. And when there's scarcity, there's high demand. When there's high demand, low supply, high demand, there's what? High prices. So that's where you have a chance of making more profit, right?
Yep.
This is the dynamics of a business. So if you are doing a calculated risk, if you are an opportunist, when it's time to maximize your profits, you maximize your profits. But if you are also an optimist, you know that this is a season where there's too much diseases, everyone is going to fail. But you say,
Mm-hmm.
in as much as this is the most difficult season to grow this thing, I'm going to grow it and I'll provide everything that is needed. So if
Mm-hmm.
it's in the dry season, you'll be like, okay, I'll put in irrigation to supplement the water supply.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's a calculated risk, but coming from an optimistic mindset. If you have a pessimist mindset, you'll be like, it's going to be drought this season. So if I grow
What's the
tomatoes and
point of
onions,
planting it?
it's not going to be successful. So there's no point in planting. And then you sit.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you sit, you have refused to take a risk because you are
Mm-hmm.
afraid. Fear has come in. Pessimism is also jumping in. And maybe you did a lot of calculations and realized that indeed you are going to fail. You were too realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So you realize definitely you are going to fail that thing, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you fold your hands, you'll be like, I'm saving my money. I'm not going to do this. And this guy who is taking this risk is optimistic, is taking the risk. He has calculated the risk, but calculated it quick enough without complicating it to scare himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he takes the opportunity. That guy is the one who is going to make a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
out of the project. So these are some of the things, the attitudes that affect the way we do things. Even in school, a person who thinks, this course is not useful to me, I'm not going to use it that much. That person is going to find it difficult to sit down and read the subject. And so you're going to find it difficult to pass it. But if you think
Yep.
this subject is important to me and I'm going to break through because of this thing, then you read. That is why I was saying last time. It's unfortunate that young people are choosing courses at uni without choosing their destiny first. So the
Mm-hmm.
problem is you're studying, but you don't know where you're going and you don't know why you're studying. So you have the motivation to study the subject.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really knew why you are studying that particular subject and what you are studying is in line with your visions in the next 20, 30 years, then even if you are finding it difficult to master that subject, instead of saying, this subject is hard, I can't pass it, only two people have passed it, so it's not my fault, the lecturer is a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
You say, you say this subject is tough, but I need to pass this subject. I'll go and see the lecturer,
Mm-hmm.
and he will help me understand where I'm missing things. Same problem, two different attitudes, two different results.
Yep.
So it's up to
Attitude is
us.
very important.
Yes, it's very important, and it's up to us now to choose what we want to do. The key point that I want to emphasize with this attitude is it doesn't matter what happens in life. What really matters is what we do with it. That's what really matters. So I have two more here. One was doubt. I was about to forget this one. Doubt.
Out. Yep.
Doubt is also another attitude which affects what we do. So for this one, I want us to read James chapter 1 verse 6. James chapter 1 verse 6, it says something like, I'm not there yet. It says something like, if you have a double mind, God is not going to bless you.
Minded.
I'll start from verse 5. It says, if any of you lacks wisdom, James chapter 1 verse 5. It says, if any of you lacks wisdom, Let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be
Mm-hmm.
given to him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. You see what the verse is saying? If you are a double-minded person, you are
Mm-hmm.
unstable in all your ways. And if you are unstable in all your ways, even God Himself cannot waste His blessings on you.
Yep. Because you're unstable.
You are unstable. So it's an attitude also. I classify it as an attitude that also prevents people from being successful. Because what does it do when you are double-minded? This day you are working on it, tomorrow you think it's not working and you want to give up. You are
You're
doing
not being
something else.
consistent.
You are not being consistent. Tomorrow you come back
Mm-hmm.
again, maybe you see your neighbor, your friend doing it successfully, and you're a little bit of jealousy. Remember last time when I was saying there's a difference between being passionate about something and being jealous. Being jealous is when you see others succeeding and you'll be like, if
I
this
also
guy
wanna
can do
be
it,
like them.
I can. You can't do better than me.
Yep. Jealous.
So if you are driven by such kind of things, you are in most cases a double-minded person. You can't focus on one thing. And also being double-minded also comes from criticism. We mentioned at the beginning that we have a challenge of what is coming in through our ears, what is coming in through our eyes. We see failure. You try something once, twice, three, four, 5 times, and you are failing. Those things, those failures may create doubt in yourself. So once you start doubting yourself, you become double-minded. One mind is saying, maybe if I continue, I'll be successful. And the other one is saying, maybe I'm wasting my time and I'm wasting my resources. Maybe it's time to quit. Once you have that
Mm-hmm.
double mind, you are never going to be successful. Even God is not going to bless you. So to be successful, you have to be tunnel focused, no changing ways. You don't let anything or anyone change your course, not even criticism from the people you love. Even if it means
Mm-hmm.
you are going to, I've told you this before. Before I started uh, talking about these things, before I was so ambitious trying to break through in life, I
Mm-hmm.
never had problems with relationships. Never. I was like,
But as soon as
at that time, I never knew divorce in my life.
mm-hmm.
For me, one thing I knew was that every person I approach will accept, and that person will never divorce me no matter what. That's what I knew. The
Mm-hmm.
only separations I've had until then were the separations of me changing location and start living in a different place, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know
That's yeah.
it just dies a natural death. But when you meet that person, you are still in a relationship. That kind of a thing. So for me, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but I was shocked when I started being ambitious and I started writing books and I started, every time I'm trying to discuss these things with people. And then that's when I started learning that you can actually be divorced because you are no longer an interesting person. Most of the time, you're just talking about the future. Who cares about the future? Want to enjoy life today. You see? So
And
why am I saying this? I'm saying you may even face that challenge of even losing the people you love. But if you're a person who is so much focused, you say to yourself, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to allow anything or anyone to divert me from my course. I'm going to continue with my vision until I succeed. And this is the
Yeah.
person who is not double-minded. But if you are not clever
Mm-hmm.
enough, all these challenges are going to force you to divert. Because what usually happens is that, yeah, let's say you're in a relationship with someone today and they divorce you because of your vision.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to approach the next person, you have this inner background that my visions are affecting my relationships. So if I want to keep this relationship, I have to change my vision. You see, now you're being forced to be a double-minded person.
Now you're
Because
being forced to compromise.
yeah, yeah, exactly. To a lower level because you want to accommodate someone in your life. So those are some of the
Mm-hmm.
things. These are real challenges, guys. These are real challenges that we are going to face when we try to break through in our lives. We are going to face these challenges where we start losing the support of the people we loved, the people who supported us, the people who have always been on our side. Even the people who are feeding us and taking care of us, our guardians, our parents, sometimes when you have these visions, they'll come to you and say, young man, look at us. We have seen a lot. We know what life is. What you are doing doesn't take you anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be evidences of people around. Look at so and so, he has done this and he failed. Look at so and so, he has done this and he has failed. Who do you think you are? And if you consider this, it might actually make sense. Like I'm saying, there's evidence for everything. So if you consider this negative evidence, it's going to prove a point to you that for sure I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to fail. And
Mm-hmm.
once you accept that position, then you become a double-minded person. You don't know what you want, whether you want to go or you don't want to go.
Yep.
And you mentioned ends before.
Double-minded.
Double-minded, yes. You mentioned ends before. I usually give this example about ants. The Bible says we should go and learn from termites and ants. There's a verse
Mm-hmm.
which actually says that a lazy person should go and learn from termites and ants. And what do termites and ants do? Those things are tunnel focus. I've watched them closely and studied how they behave. What that thing does is, if it's walking by itself, an ant, and it finds food, but this thing, maybe it's a grasshopper or something. That thing is massive, way, way bigger than it can carry. It will still try to carry it on its own.
Yep.
If it can't carry it, it will try to drag it. If it can't drag it, you know what it does?
It calls the support.
It goes back, and then after a few minutes, you see five coming, and they try. If they can't, you see after some time 10, 15 coming. If they can't, the next thing they will establish their
All at a
home.
time.
They will establish their home there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their persistence. If it is going a certain direction and it faces an obstacle, it tries to lift it up. If it can't, it tries to go to the left side. If it can't, it tries to go to the right side. If it can't, it tries to climb up. If it can't, it tries.
But it's still moving.
It's still moving. If it can't, it tries to
It
to,
never
to, to
stops.
dig a hole through that thing. If it can't, it will go back again and call its friend. If at the worst, if they cannot make it, they will establish their camp there. They just don't give up. And these are very, very tiny things. But look at the things which they do. Massive things. Look at the hills which they build.
Massive things.
Massive things. An
Mm-hmm.
elephant cannot even build such a thing. But it's so big.
Yeah. And strong too.
And strong. But have you ever seen
Not
anything built by an elephant?
big fat for nothing.
You know, there's this thing we call a millipede. You know a millipede? That thing with many legs.
Yes.
A millipede. You know, I look at that thing, I feel sorry for it. I grew up in the farms myself, so I know these things. Animals are things that I look at every day. What it does is when it's walking and it encounters a problem, it ro-
Equals.
it coils, and then when it gets quiet, it stretches out whichever direction it's facing when it stretches out. That's where it goes. It's not the same direction it was going before. It's not the same direction it was going before. It's going a different direction. And have you
Mhm.
ever seen anything built by that thing?
Nothing.
Nothing. So there are people who actually live like millipedes.
Millipede, yeah.
Yes, when you're doing a business, you encounter a problem, you roll back. When you want to start, you start something new. You walk 2 steps, you roll back, you start something new. Again and again and again. How do you expect to
Mhm.
achieve anything in life if you are not persistent? So persistence comes from an attitude. And I would say persistence itself is also an attitude.
Yeah, attitude,
Just,
yep.
just someone who just doesn't give up.
Persistent and consistent. It's like almost the same things.
Yes, you don't give up. You
Yeah.
just keep going. You encounter problems. You look for solutions. So an end is optimistic. It encounters a problem. It looks for a solution, and it
That's right.
continues. It doesn't give up. It continues. No matter what happens, you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever. It continues. It doesn't give up. That is the kind of an attitude that builds empires, no matter how small you are. And if to those who say we don't have resources, they have to learn from these three animals I just mentioned. In fact, I might add the third one, the fourth one, which is a snake. A snake moves very fast, very fast, and it's venomous. Everyone is afraid of it, but it doesn't have even a single leg. An elephant has a very big leg,
With big
very big,
legs.
very big. But an
Mhm.
elephant doesn't can't build anything. An elephant only
Yeah.
destroys. The only thing that an elephant does is to destroy. It destroys
Yep.
big things. It destroys big trees, but it doesn't know how to build anything. And yet, an ant
Yeah.
this small, it builds a hill this big. An ant. So, to those who think uh, they can't do anything in life because they do not have resources, they should learn from ants. Ants do not have resources. They look for resources. And yet, millipedes, they have the largest number of legs of all the animals on this planet.
Yep.
What have they done with those legs? They are not even the fastest. They can't even run. They are not the most persistent ones. They cannot build anything. With all those those numbers of legs.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter. You can have access to many resources. If you don't know how to use them, there's no result. If you don't have the right attitude
It's
to
not.
life, you are never going to achieve anything.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
And the last one, I'm forgetting it, but I was looking at it like, okay, I was talking about something pragmatic, someone who is pragmatic.
Oh, pragmatic. Yeah.
Pragmatic,
Yep.
yes. Someone who is pragmatic is someone who adjusts according to the situation. That person doesn't change
Hmm.
course, doesn't change visions, doesn't change. You don't change course, you don't change visions, but you adjust
You
according to the
just, yeah.
situation.
For example,
Someone who is
let's use the use of technology now. For example, you're in a medical field and the goal is to do surgeries and stuff. You don't change the goal of doing surgery. You just advance in technologies, adjust to these technologies, and use them to become even efficient.
If you are not growing with time, with technology, you are actually dying. If you are not growing, you are dying. That's what happens if others are improving and you are not improving, and you started the same industry, you are going to fail. You see, so
Mm-hmm.
that's a principle. You need to adjust according to the environment. But adjusting doesn't mean abandoning your course. You're still working in the same field. You're still advancing the same thing, but it's still the same cause, same vision, building the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. But you need to adjust to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important to adjust to the environment? We said you need to minimize your loss and maximize your profits.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a person who doesn't adjust to the environment, you are going to let opportunities go in the good days
Mm-hmm.
because you are trying to be consistent. So you limit yourself in the name of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Or else, when things are bad, you are going to continue pouring a lot of resources into something that is already in the negative side. And you lose even more in the name of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who is pragmatic is someone who is quick to realize the change in the waves and is riding with the waves. When I'm saying riding with the waves, I'm not talking of drifting. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, there's a point which I made last time also. I think that's the one I mentioned in Shona most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I was talking about drifting, I came across a statement last week which was saying you can drift as much as you want, but remember, no one has ever drifted to the top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
So you can do what you want in life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
enjoy life if you want, and ride the waves. I'm repeating the same phrase so that I clarify it. Ride the waves of social uh, interactions and social norms or trends. You know, when you
Mm-hmm.
are riding the trends, what you are doing for the most part is drifting. And what we say in the business world is that once you see something trending, it's too late. It has already happened. The opportunists have already taken their share. And once you povo, when you start jumping in, it's the trend is already exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? A trending song, for instance, what happens? A musician composes a song
Fine. Yeah.
and then he rehearses the song and then he records the song and then the song is published. When the song is published, people accept it and then it becomes a trending song.
Mm-hmm.
So to you who is listening to a trending song, you are at the end of the cycle. But the musician who composed the song is at the beginning of the cycle. And who gets the money?
The composer.
The composer. Because he is the one who made the trend, the trend that you guys are jumping into.
Mm-hmm.
So once you see something trending, it's already too late.
It's really too late
Yes,
for you. Too late, but for someone like the producer, the manufacturer,
they've already made their money. And
yeah.
if you take a trending song and try to sell it, how much are you going to sell that song for? It's already everywhere anyway. Who's going to buy it?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to buy it?
It's like somebody posting breaking news on their social media. Yet it has already been broke already.
You see,
Yes,
you see, everyone knows the news.
yes, and you're
Probably,
posting it again like breaking news.
probably you're the only one who didn't know the news, you know? You see, so
Uh,
yes, so we need to understand that you cannot drift to the top of the mountain. Why? Because it's hard to climb a mountain. A mountain has obstacles. Imagine you're climbing up and you step on a rock, and then the rock starts rolling and you fall. When you fall on a mountain cliff, you roll. You don't just fall, you start rolling down. And as we are rolling down, there are some rocks also rolling, following you. And those rocks are bigger than your body. One crash and you are gone.
Clamping, it's not easy.
It's not easy. Climbing is not easy. And you get tired. You really feel your leg, you feel your muscles. They are painful as you are climbing up.
Oh.
So there's no one who is ever going to drift to the top of the mountain.
To the top, yeah.
Yes.
Same with success.
The same with success.
You're never,
It's never going to
you're
be
never gonna do.
because drifting is accidental. Everything that happens, it happens by accident. You'll be surprised. Oh, I'm here. How did I come here? That's what happens when you're drifting. But when you're climbing a mountain, you're not going to be surprised, my friend, because the effort that you did put into that thing, it's not easy. I've seen
And
people
that
say,
once,
oh, this guy, he just did this and he broke through. He was lucky. No, 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 guys. That person did something for 5, 10 years behind the scenes and you were not seeing it.
yeah, and that also answers the question you asked me the other time about why the way to heaven is not easy.
Yes,
Because we can't be drifting to heaven. We have to
yeah, it's up there. But
go.
to hell is down there. You can drift to hell, but you cannot drift to heaven. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
that's
so,
very
so
interesting.
when I'm saying we are riding the waves as someone who is pragmatic, I'm not saying we are drifting. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to make that clear. I'm saying
Makes sense.
you understand where the winds are going, and as an
Mm-hmm.
opportunist, you take that ride before it happens, and then you benefit as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
It goes up with you. You don't follow it, it goes up with you.
Mm-hmm.
You see? But not in the sense of drifting, in the sense of actually
Mm-hmm.
climbing a mountain.
Yes, that's very essential.
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know. Do we still have something else? I think on my side I'm done.
Yeah, I think you've covered everything. You've covered doubt, you covered fear, you covered pragmatic, you covered optimistic, pessimistic. Oh, you've covered a lot.
Yes, yes. I don't know,
Yes,
maybe we'll come up
fear.
with something else later on. We keep on discussing these things. But the bottom line is, how do you interpret things that are happening in your life? You can choose
Mm-hmm.
to interpret them in a manner that leads to you taking action and changing that situation
Mm-hmm.
to a positive result. Or you can choose to take that situation as something that has nothing to do with you in a
Mm-hmm.
negative manner and you respond in a negative manner that also leads to negative results. I can say this statement to every topic on this earth, including even in marriages. People are failing in their marriages because of these attitudes. If you interpret what is happening in your marriage negatively, you are going to act negatively, and the result is negative divorce, breakups,
Mm-hmm.
even in relationships before you even get married. It's the same thing. The way you
Mm-hmm.
interpret what is happening you can choose to interpret it negatively or you can choose to interpret it positively. The result will always be synchronized to your attitude. If your attitude is negative, your actions are negative and your results will be negative. If your attitude is positive, your actions will be positive and the result will be positive. Actually, there's a verse in, I think, somewhere in Corinthians, in which Paul was saying to people who are married to non believers, you have to behave well in front of your husbands who are non believers. And it is that positive behavior that is going to convince your husband that it is a good thing to worship God.
Mm-hmm.
And people miss that. I've seen people try to fight. They don't understand. Fighting in relationships, arguing, proving a point in relationships is the number one toxic thing that is destroying, and it keeps on destroying relationships every day. Instead of just demonstrating the positive aspect, we often try to fight with words and with our physical power. And the result is
Mm-hmm.
always, I've never seen a person who fought and kept a relationship. The moment you start fighting, you lose it. You can never fight your way into a relationship. Never. But you
Mm-hmm.
can demonstrate your beliefs, your values, and your love. But you cannot force it. And that is
Yeah,
how people keep
people,
relationships
yeah,
and marriages. The moment they start fighting, everything goes astray.
I
They
hope.
they
Yeah.
lose. Yes. So it's a topic which we should apply in every aspect of our life. Attitude,
Mm-hmm.
attitude, attitude. I can't stress this enough. Attitude is going to determine what we are going to do with what is coming into our life. What is coming into our life.
Attitude. Yep. Well, that's something we should. It should be our fundamental thing. The
Yes,
attitudes.
attitudes. Like what you said, your mindset. I think we can almost say the same thing. Your mindset or your attitude. For me right now. I don't know. I need a dictionary to see if
Mindset
it's
and
something
attitude. Yeah.
different. But
Yeah.
for now, I'm taking it as one thing.
Yep.
You see, I can't even sit straight because my back.
You see me now. I'm just lying on the. I'm just lying on the couch now.
For me, I have to sit upright. But
Um,
yes. Oh,
Not even the couch. This is just another mattress
ah,
sitting here in
for
my
for
in.
me, I couldn't do that because there were kids in the dining room, so I had to get in my bedroom. So I'm actually sitting on my bed, but I have a table,
Yep.
so I have to sit upright because I have nowhere to lean on my bed.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
but those that one has been a very interesting topic.
Yeah, for me, I think it's even helpful as we discuss these things. I start seeing a lot of things that I didn't see before. Honestly, I
Hmm.
feel I think I wish I knew I had this you know this kind of information maybe
Before
5, 10 years ago.
hmm
Unfortunately, there was no one
to discuss with.
yeah, no one to teach me, no one to discuss with,
Okay.
and anything
Yep.
significant in life. When we meet, we always want to talk about love, silly things. We gossip about other people. All
Yep.
this time. Imagine, it's almost 2 hours now. 1 hour 43 minutes. We are talking about
Discussing about meaningful things.
meaningful things. We could have been gossiping about someone else we don't like. We could have been talking about girls and stuff like that. But it's very rare to
Mm.
see young people discussing anything of of
Yeah,
of,
it's
of
very rare.
importance.
Yes, we
Yes.
we we take this one as a very. It's a privilege.
Yeah, it is. It is a privilege, yes.
Yep.
And we have to make sure our results also prove that we were given
Our
wisdom.
actions follow what we say.
Yeah.
Our action follows what we
What?
discuss.
Yes, we have to act. Otherwise, because the Bible in James it says faith without works. It's dead.
It's, yep.
Yes, so whatever we are doing here, if we don't follow with actions, guys, we are wasting our time. For me, guys,
Mm,
it's because things that I do, I don't need to publish to anyone. I don't need a registered company, the logo and stuff like that. But I'm one person who
mm.
execute every day for the past 5 years.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'm always implementing my plan, and it's been working and not working, working and not working, going up and down every single
Mm,
day. You know, these days I just post
mm,
some things on my WhatsApp, just on my WhatsApp. I do post on YouTube, of course, only to store because my phone memory is
yep.
limited. And
Yep.
I've had some things recorded as far as 4 years ago.
4 years back
and
down the
I,
line.
and until now, and I'm saying every day, Monday to Friday, every single day, weekday, Monday to Friday, I do what I need to do, and I make
Mm-hmm.
losses, I make profits, I make losses, and I'm writing things down, I'm taking screenshots, I'm recording videos, I review those things every single day. So these things
Mm,
you see me saying today, they are not just things. Of course, I read things, right? But they're not
mm-hmm.
only things that I read. There are things, some of the times I just see things and I write them down. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I'm just reading a book written by someone else, I see those things. I'm like, oh, I thought about things before I read about them.
But before you read them.
Before, yes, you see, so I have somewhat of an experience in these things that I'm saying. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just memorizing things, reading books, and then come and laugh in front of you guys when I don't know the actual meaning of what I'm saying. These things which I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, I'm feeling them on a daily basis.
Experience. Yeah.
Yes, I know what I'm talking about.
That's why the way you deliver it, it's actually inspirational. It's actually it's actually like a wake up call for some of us.
I've gone through criticism from some people I really
Yep.
trusted. I've gone through divorces, like I always say, not only once, maybe 3 times now. And in fact, right now I just don't even care about getting into relationships with people. Even if I do, I just, I can easily let go a relationship and let go my vision. That's what I just do. But it came
Mm-hmm.
from the pains of, seeing the people you trust letting you down, the
Mm-hmm.
people you are working for. Because when I'm trying to build a successful life, I'm building it for my relatives, I'm building it for my friends, I'm building it for my wife and my children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you see those
Mm-hmm.
people for whom you are going through all these troubles and struggles,
Mm-hmm.
and you're
They're
sacrificing
letting
to
you
make
down.
sure that those people will have brighter futures, you see that the very people who are criticizing you, they're the very people who are letting you down. How do you feel? It's a painful thing, yeah? So,
Yep.
but I understand them because I have one brother of mine. He said to me, I went to see him last year, and I was talking to him, and he said to
Mm-hmm.
me, you know what, my young brother, I want you to know one thing. The problem with visions is that God gives you the vision and not me. And when you are the one who has received the vision, when you come and explain that vision to me, never ever think that I'm going to comprehend that vision as much as you do, because it's just
Mm-hmm.
not my vision.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever expect me to understand and to feel the way you feel about that vision. Even if you give
Because
me
it's not.
resources to implement that vision, you are going to be disappointed because what I'm going to do on the ground is based on my imagination, but those
Mm-hmm.
imaginations are far, far from what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So your visions are your own visions. Some of us
Yep.
will never understand them until you finally put something on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he
Yeah,
said
that
to me.
that's actually true.
Yes, he said that to me. And I was like, hmm. He has a point. He has a point. And I came back with a different attitude to say, okay, because I used to sometimes you just you know, like I'm saying, we are human beings. We do have feelings, you know, and sometimes what happens is, especially when people criticize you and when people leave you, sometimes you start doubting yourself and say, am I doing something wrong? You know. But then
Mm-hmm.
after some time, when you've gone through all these struggles by yourself, you start seeing those people coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You start seeing them saying those things that you used to say to them.
That you used to say, yeah,
And that's
they
when
didn't
you,
get the value at that, but after 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 that, it's not present anymore.
yes,
That's when they start to feel the value.
and that's when you start feeling a little bit of energy coming back into you to say, oh, now
Mm-hmm.
they are seeing, now they are appreciating what I was saying, what I was trying to do. You see, but
Mm-hmm.
it may take years before they come back, and some of them you may never have a chance to meet them and actually prove that they appreciate what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just ends like that with you having questions that are not answered.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so I've gone through some very very tough times where you sometimes make really difficult decisions in life. And sometimes people will be like, you should have done A, B, C, D. By now you would have been X, Y, Z, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because the vision has not been accomplished yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people are looking from a distance, they'll be like, this guy is always talking, but there's no result on the ground.
There's no results.
There's no result.
Always
But
talking.
always talking. And when you are the one who is implementing things, you have a different understanding
That's when you
because
see those
there's
things.
there are certain things like for me the way I do things. Sometimes I open certain positions and I'm really confident that this thing, like I would say, maybe 80% of my losses, I'm still right even direction wise. I just get a loss and then it goes back in the direction I thought it was going, and it happens more than
Oh yeah.
80%, more than 80% of the time.
That's
And
gonna
so
be a big loss.
so it's not like that's when I learned that sometimes you don't make losses in business because you are stupid or because you are wrong. Some are just miscalculations. What's going on with your network?
My internet is playing up.
You're playing too much with your phone. Um,
No, it's just the internet.
oh yes, it's tired now.
Yeah.
Almost 2 hours. This one was a long one.
Yeah, it's a very long one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So imagine I'm coming out of my bedroom, having experienced that kind of a loss where you make a loss not necessarily because you're wrong, but because what has happened. But you still made a
Mm-hmm.
loss, right? I've learned something about life, and I come out. I go, let's say, maybe in the garage, I'm fixing cars, and then I'm saying certain things
Mm-hmm.
from what I've just experienced when I was on my computer on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the person in the garage is going to understand what I'm talking about? Or maybe I go out and meet a girl somewhere who is just thinking about, Valentine presents. Maybe she have bought me flowers, or maybe
When
the
you go
the
talk these things to them, they'll be like, "Oh, is this guy crazy or something? Is he on drugs or something?"
one is Kirkland is coming with the Valentine flowers, and this guy comes and say, you know, in life you have to A B C D. This guy will be like,
Yeah,
this guy.
this guy is so controlling. This
And
guy is like
that is
all
the
the all
word.
all. Yeah.
Because you then come and say, we shouldn't spend money wasting money on silly things like makeup and Valentine flowers that we are going to throw in the bin after 10
Giving.
minutes. They're like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
So it's a very, very, I tell you, my friend, this path we are trying to take is a very, very difficult one.
It's a
Very
really
difficult.
difficult one.
You are not going to be as popular as you were before you embark on this journey. You are going to lose a lot of friends because many people are just drifters. And once you get focused, you're going to find it difficult to associate with drifters.
Mm-hmm.
And by their numbers, they are going to insult you, they are going to mock you, they are going to laugh at you for some time.
Mm-hmm.
But then, after some years, that's when you start seeing the difference and you become
Mm-hmm.
better. And now they are struggling and they no longer have a chance. They cannot break through, and you are up there. Now everyone wants
Mm-hmm.
to come to you, everyone wants to associate with. And of course, we will talk about. I hope in the end we are going to talk about how we are going to use our resources, because I think that's an important element also. How we use our
Yeah.
resources when we finally break through, we are blessed, we have worked so hard, and we have built
Mm-hmm.
something good in our lives. We achieved financial independence. We have a lot of money, a lot of resources. How are we going to behave?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to remain the same old people that we have been? Are we going
Oh
to
my
change
goodness.
to something else? Because you always think you know how to handle it until you get it.
You work it out. You work it out.
Yeah, when you get it, because they say money is not money doesn't make a person evil.
Mm-hmm.
Money only exposes who the person really is.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you don't have money, we see you and you are such a kind person. You love
But,
everyone, you are laughing with everyone, you talk to everyone, you know, you share with everyone. But when you become a
mm-hmm.
millionaire and a billionaire, what are you going to do?
You start persecuting others.
You see, so we will talk about that one. We have enough faces to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours now. Wow,
Anyway,
this was the
it has
longest
been
one.
a it's been a it's been a very good one.
It's very, very long. 2 hours. Nah, I never thought we would go that far. I thought actually it was going to be very short because we discussed
Yeah,
about it
I
before.
also I also thought the same thing.
Ah,
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much.
all right,
Let
man.
me just prepare to sleep.
Man, I'm going to fall. I'm not even sleeping. I'm just falling. Ah,
Yeah.
all right. You have a good one. See you.